Where's the bang bang, Preston? Come on.
I can't breathe.
Pub Sports Radio. Come find us in Southtown 101. Subscribe on YouTube and all platforms where podcasts are found.
Welcome to Pub Sports Radio. It is Monday, January 17th. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Shout out. Got to give it right off the top here, Max. NCAA net profit. How are you doing, my man? We've already got games rolling. We had a great double OT. I mean, Purdue-Illinois game was wild. Purdue ended up pulling away, winning by 8. How you doing today?
Listen, I've had better starts to days, but with big slates like this and having a good bankroll and a good operating budget, I am going to just plug my eyes open and start doing some fucking, because I want Gus's money. I want his girlfriend delivering an envelope in 30 centimeters plus of snow, and I want her to have a real fucking face on her face when she comes and hands it over. If she was my bitch, she would have to be going nowhere to deliver a next man money.
I love it when you say that, Max, when you say centimeters, because we just don't say that here in the U.S., so I love when you say shit like that. 30, what'd you say, 30 centimeters of snow?
30 centimeters.
Okay. Yeah, something definitely we don't say here. I love it. Let's get to it. Yeah, Saturday, volatile. I mean, so many games. I was getting my ass kicked early, like I was telling you. Pretty bad. And I went on a great, 8-1 run. Saved my day. A little bit of profit, but wild, tons of games there. And yesterday was all right as well. There's a bunch of NFL going on, but there's college basketball today. I can't wait. Let's get right into your line movement. Let's get right to it for today, and then we'll get to your games.
All right, for sure. I think that I'll start with the added board, Connor. I think that we've had a couple games where there's been a point or two, nothing really significant until we get to the Fairleigh Dickinson Wagner total that's gone from 142 to 146. Wagner's going to be able to bully FDU on the inside, and when they're able to score inside early, it opens up their outside shooting, and we know that they got a ton of that. So this is going to be a dangerous game for FDU. And the total is definitely reflecting that. I think that when we look at another total that we've seen a couple points of line movement, we got to go and look at that Jackson State Texas Southern game. Texas Southern is a team that you rarely see that they don't get to the 130s, and seeing this line open at 125.5 and now at 128.5 or 129 is definitely giving me an indication that this is going to be a competitive game, and a game hopefully where Texas Southern doesn't need to make a 10-plus point comeback in the second half. As far as a spread that has moved that I think is significant, even though it isn't that big of a line move point-wise, I think Florida A&M going from a 7.5-point favorite down to 5.5 is significant. Mississippi Valley State with Robert Carpenter in the lineup is a completely different team. Without him, that makes a big difference and is probably the game changer. So I think that with their injury information, it's good to find out if Carpenter is going to be in the game before you bet Mississippi Valley State. And I just think that with Florida A&M, we've seen them play up tempo, and I can see why the total has stayed exactly where it is, because when they played up tempo, Mississippi Valley State is going to want to do the opposite.
Excellent.
All right, Connor, going through the main board, just a couple games that I really want to talk about before we get into the games that I picked out. With conference basketball, I always go back to the Josh Applebaum rule. If you see an opener in the 150s and it moves down a point or more, there is a 60% chance that game is going to stay under. Yes, that happened in the Illinois-Purdue game, but that game went to overtime. So there's an asterisk beside it. I think that when we come to a couple totals that have moved on the main board, I think that with Weber State and Idaho State, the spread has moved in favor of Weber, and the totals definitely moved in favor of the over, going from 137 to 139 and 9.5 to as high as 12. I think that it's an interesting move considering Weber State's definitely had problems on the road blowing teams out when they should. So be interesting to talk about that a little later. UNLV went from a 5.5 point favorite now to an 8-point favorite. So I think that's an overreaction from the Colorado State ass whooping that San Jose State took. And when we're talking about the Summit League, Connor, Denver and UMKC had a total that opened at 136. I thought that it was going to go north. It's gone south, and we're seeing it 133.5 or 134. So very perplexing line move there. And with Drake is not going to have Tucker DeVries. They're not going to have Tank Hemphill. And that spread is actually moved in favor of them. So a lot of tricky line moves on this card today. And I think that the last two ones that I want to talk about, Portland going from a 12-point underdog now to 9 or 9.5. Yeah. And Idaho and Northern Arizona, a 153 total going down to 150.
Yeah. You think Hemphill, is he out? Is that for sure?
That's what I read from one of the beat writers.
Yeah, God, it's so hard to stay on these, you know. You talk about there's the info you're getting on these colleges is the shits sometimes. But yeah, these line moves have been crazy. That Portland, Loyola, we'll get to that game. It's a spot where I like Portland. They've took a lot of money though, Max. You know, this line has dropped. But I'll get to that in my game. So you ready to get to yours?
Yeah, absolutely, Connor. I think that we should definitely shout out the chat because they are the chat that rocks out with their cock out all over the place. So shout out to them. And yeah, listen, I think that when we look at this card today, it's going to be a good motherfucking time. So yeah, keep your egos in check. That's for sure.
I love it. And I'll get right to the chat. Let's give a shout out to everyone. Sam Comer, our guy. Tony Cobbs, how are you doing? Jake, C. James, Canes Nation, Rude, Jude. What's up, my guy? Jay, Arthur Mead Jr. Arthur, how you doing? Billy Brisbane, Willie Beeman. Look at this guy, St. Joe's. Cash it. There's a new sheriff in town. Look at this guy. Nikki Fish Tanks, shout out, We Be Pubbin. Everyone, hit the like, hit the subscribe. That's all we ask from you. And join us Monday through Friday, right here, same time. Remos, what's up, my guy? How you doing? All right, Max, let's get your first one. Central Connecticut State, Sacred Heart. Sacred Heart's laying 9 here. Total right around the 141.5, 142. What is your look here?
Yeah, listen, Sacred Heart's beaten Central Connecticut State a whole bunch of times dating back to like 2015. I don't think anything's going to change tonight. And what's really hurt Central Connecticut State so far, especially on the defensive end, when the defensive end hasn't been hurting them, is just the fact that their front court has been exploited by any team with experienced bigs. I think that with Sacred Heart, that's one thing that you do not have to worry about, but their pop and shop potential is definitely high. I think that with Nico Gillette, this is the guy that's got to really be the difference maker. And with Aaron Clark and Tyler Thomas, these are two guys that first Clark can get into the paint and really disturb any kind of defensive freaking chemistry that is going on. And then Tyler Thomas is a guy that can hit 7 threes in a game. I think that they are going to take their anger out on this Central Connecticut State team. And without Nigel Scanterbury having a big offensive game, I just don't see it for them. So give me the favorite. I like Sacred Heart first half. I think that they're fucking with their eyes open, and Central Connecticut State can go back and smoke some legal weed for all I give a shit.
No doubt. Let's get to your second one. Florida A&M versus you brought this up, and Mississippi Valley State. It's dropped from 7 to 5.5. Total 143.5. What do you got here?
Yeah, listen, this is a spot where I like an under. I think that with Robert Carpenter in the lineup for this Mississippi Valley State, they are a team that I look to back as a home dog. Without his confirmation last night, I had only one option. It's first half under with this team. I think that this is the way that I want to attack them. This is the way that they're going to be able to set the tone. They got to do a good job on the glass, get Jordan Johnson and Elijah Davis into good facilitation situations. And a guy like David McCoy can freaking come out and give you an outlier type game. Mississippi Valley State is not a team that I expect to win this game. So using Florida A&M as a parlay filler is definitely a check mark on my to-do list. However, when it comes to the show, I think that a first half under with the Mississippi Valley State team that's going to have to slow it down without their star in the lineup, sign me the fuck up.
Excellent. What number did you get that at? Just a shout out for everybody, or around there. What?
Hold on, I have to look at my spreadsheet. 69.
69, okay. Excellent. I love it. Let's get to the next one. St. Francis, PA. You always got to throw that out there, Max. PA against Bryant. Bryant, 8.5 point favorites. This total's right at about 150, mostly everywhere. What do you like here?
Yeah, Connor, don't worry about St. Francis, Pennsylvania, or St. Francis, Brooklyn, because the Terriers just got their freaking asses spanked. Cha-cha-ching! So it's only about St. Francis, Pennsylvania, and I'll tell you, the biggest question mark with St. Francis, Pennsylvania is Rondell Giles. Is Miles Thompson going to be in the fucking lineup? This team was one of the worst defensive teams in college basketball in November and December, and they have turned it around in the last 17 days. Maybe they got a wolf blood injection. Maybe they got some Florida sunshine. I don't know what it is, but they are coming for Bryant's ass. It is a tall task to stop this Bryant team, but the plain difference with them is they're not shooting the three as confidently and effectively as they were last year. So when you're shooting under 35% and you put up that many threes, you may not get to 10 in a game. And if Bryant doesn't do that, well, I don't think that St. Francis has a lot to worry about. I think St. Francis is going to keep this game close, and I think that they're staying within the numbers. So Bryant can be a Ken Palm 6-point favorite all they want. Suck my dick, Ken Palm.
Yeah, be leery of Ken Palm too, because we're going into conference play a little bit. It's great. Ken Palm's great, but a little different from all these non-conference blowouts. You got to just watch it. That's all I'm saying. Let's get to your next one, Max. Texas Southern laying 1.5 here versus Jackson State. I'm interested in what do you like here? Totals moved up to 129.5. Do you agree with that? And do you think Texas Southern can go in there and cover here with this short number?
Yeah, I agree with the total move. Absolutely. That's why I jumped on it as soon as I saw it on opener last night. I was like, yeah, no, this is a 133 type game. I think that with Jackson State, they definitely had to pull their britches up in the second half against Prairie View. It showed a lot of good character, and this team is definitely more capable on their home floor. I think that with Texas Southern, I do worry about them getting good ball facilitation against this defense, and that's what stars for Jackson State. Jackson State wins with their defense first, and with them being able to chase you off the three-point line and do a good job of limiting your offensive rebounding opportunities, it does take away from some of the shit that they don't do well on offense. I think that having or not having Gabe Watson is a big freaking knock in the freaking gut for this team, but Javius McInnes can take over. Darius Hicks is very capable. This team fucking wins with good team balance scoring, and I look for Jonas James and Terrence Lewis to have a big game tonight. I think that they welcome the freaking size, strength, and rebounding skill that Texas Southern is going to freaking bring in, and I think that they beat them old school swag style, punch them in the gut, take it at them, and make the refs fucking make a call. So Jackson State for me in this spot, and I definitely like that over.
For sure. Shout out, Nico. What's up, my guy? Thanks for joining us. Smash the like button. Go on Twitter, retweet us, tell everyone we're here. And there's goddamn college basketball games on. And we're ready to break them down. Max, let's get to this last one. It's interesting. Fairleigh Dickinson, yeah, versus Wagner. Wagner, good team, but laying a huge number here. Do they cover this? I mean, I lean that way. There's 17. There's a few 16.5s, total 146, like you mentioned. What do you think here?
Yeah, one thing in this conference that has definitely remained a constant is that teams are not blowing each other out. We've seen maybe one or two blowouts that have been by more than 17 points. So on opener, while I do think that schematically Wagner's at a big advantage, I do think that the number is tailored towards taking FDU. With Wagner, obviously Raekwon Rogers has been a inspirational freaking player, probably the best front court player in the league this year, and he pretty much came out of nowhere with his ability to get good shots in high percentage areas and dominate the offensive glass. He provides a lot of that interior scoring that you need from Wagner to open up the perimeter for guys like Alex Morales and freaking Elijah Ford. I think that if Wagner's able to score inside early, it helps them build the lead. But like we've seen in past games, we have seen them struggle adapting, getting into it. And I think that while FDU is not going to have a lot of big men that can challenge Rogers, they do seem to stay in games and find ways to freaking score the basketball. So I'd have to lean towards the dog. And I think that Wagner's team total at this type of number is more reasonable. So not something that I bet yet, Connor, but with the 7 o'clock window and having an hour between our show, I will definitely be investigating a little more.
And what, just real quick to shout everyone out, when you mentioned Wagner's team total, what do you have it at?
80.5.
80.5? Okay. Just so everyone can get a little feel for what they might have to be taking in that game. Excellent. I love the breakdowns, my guy. Let's get to my games, and we'll get to the rest. Buddy. We'll get to them all today, and we will get on out of here. My first one, Max, Mercer versus the Citadel. Mercer, this has moved up. They're laying 3.5. It even touched 4. Total's 151. I'm on the over here, Max. I'm not a big guy on 150 overs. It hasn't really moved. I got a 151. There's a lot of 151.5s. I even see a 152. The Citadel's back in conference, just kind of going up and down. That DMI game went way over. I think so. There's a little room of value with these two schools. Mercer's played a little bit better defense, but I don't think they stop anybody. When these teams meet in the past, there's just a ton of scoring going on. Real quick, to touch on the side, I lean Citadel as well. I know they at home, they just lost by 5 to VMI. They beat Greensboro. When they're at home, they lose close games, and I don't trust Mercer on the road. They've just been a nemesis to me laying numbers like this. I don't know about you. This year, last year, it seems like if they're laying 4 points on the road, they have a trouble covering this number. So not only I lean the side, I'm rolling with the over. Citadel scores 81. They give up 75. Mercer scores 72. They give up about the same. Both teams can shoot it well, 37-35 from 3. So I'm not a big, me taking a 150 when I get to about 150 overs, but I got to take the over here and lean the points with Citadel. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that you're going to need a big game from Hayden Brown, but you're going to need Jason Roche to have an efficient 3-point shooting game. If he's going to be able to do that, then they're going to be in it, and they're always going to have a leg up on Mercer when Mercer doesn't have Neftali Alvarez running the point guard spot there. Yeah,
real quick, Canes Nation. I mean, everything that I see, Hayden Brown's a go, their top scorer. So, I mean, if he's not, then it changes a little bit. But what have you heard, Max? I mean, I hear he's going to go.
I haven't heard anything that he hasn't.
Yeah, I haven't. From everything
Connor,
I've looked, yeah.
And like we've seen when stars go down the first game, teams elevate their performance.
Yeah, this is true. I mean, I wonder if it changes the line because there might be whispers. Who knows? He could have the flu. And like we just talked about, they're not giving out these kids whether they're in or out. Some of this information is very difficult to get, a team like the Citadel. So, but he is their best player. But everything I've heard, I think he's in. So as long as he is, I'll keep an eye on it. I'm on the over, and if I look the side, I lean Citadel a little bit. 3.5. Let's get to my next one, Max. Portland versus Loyola Marymount. You mentioned this in your line move. This has come down from 12, 11.5. You're even seeing 9.5s. I grabbed 11, and I still thought there's still 10s. Hold on. I believe there's a few 10s. Superbook, some places I go to here, there's 10s all the way around. The trouble is here, Portland's been our team a little bit, Max. We back them a lot. They lost to San Diego on OT. They come back, beat Pepperdine by almost 20, 82-63. The only thing I thought about this game really a lot, Max, was this is the last game of a 5-game road trip. Loyola Marymount's back here at home. They were on that long layoff. They had the bad loss to San Francisco, and then they lose to San Diego as well. But right, they just lost to them by 5, 70-65. I think they can get it done. I think it's just too many points. I'm just leery that Portland's a bit tired here, and this spot, says Loyola Marymount. What do you think in this game?
Yeah, I think that it's very likely that Portland could come out flat for us. I just think that with their scheme, the way that they move the ball from side to side, and with the fact that they have guys that hit their free throws late in games, it's all about a good start. I think that we've seen Portland get off to a good start during most of the games on this road trip. I think that we have a good potential to see that again tonight. While full game may be a little more tumultuous, I do think that they have the matchup advantage when it comes to being able to speed Loyola Marymount up and be able to match up physically with how much depth they have on the bench. They got a lot of different bodies that they can throw in at Eli Scott and Kelly Luapepe. So I'm not worried about it. I have to be proven wrong.
I mean, I agree with you. That's why I'm rolling with it again. You mentioned it. Scott's got to be huge for Loyola. And I think Portland's a little bit better defensively, right now. Throughout the year, I think they've been they're the team out of these two that maybe is a little better. So I just think it's too many. I know this is dropped. If you can get a 10, it depends if you like them here. And going through all their scores, just going through everything today, similar teams, when they step up, both these teams get their ass whipped. And the similar teams they've played have been around the same score. So just that spot's got me scared that I mentioned the last of the road trip and Loyola being home here. Let's get to my third one. Towson versus William and Mary here. Towson's laying 10.5, total 136. Man, we talked about this on Saturday, Max, that there's no way I was going to stay off William and Mary because how bad this team was in non-conference. And they lose, but they cover against James Madison, 95-91. And this team was supposed to go on the road, and they got a bunch of cancellations. So they're back here at home. Towson has been great this year, especially for us, Max. You and me both, I think. I mean, they're 12-5 record. I think they're about the same against the number. So it's difficult for me. But William and Mary has owned them. They beat them twice last year and 6 out of the last 7. William and Mary one more time at home with double digits. Towson might win this game, but at 11 points, you can still get 10.5 because I think I'm going with William and Mary. There's something at home right now in conference play where I'm taking these points. What do you think?
Yeah, listen, I know exactly what it is, bro. It's freaking influx of talent that guys like Tyler Rice has freaking brought in. I think that when you look at this team, there was a lot of question marks of who is going to do what, how much are they going to have to rely on Yuri Covington's dribble, drive, and ball screen skills, and they've been able to find other guys that have been able to step up. I think that Brandon Carroll, Julian Lewis are definitely guys that can make a difference on a game-to-game basis. I think that this team is coming together and growing as they get games under their belt. So if you've been making money on William and Mary during this little freaking home conference mini streak, I think that you freaking take them again tonight. If you haven't, then I think that you maybe lay off of it.
Yeah, and just, we were shocked by the Hofstra win by 1, but Northeastern then the win. And then, hanging in that whole game, I mean, being right there, losing 95-91, maybe too many. And the series shocked me a little bit too, how much William and Mary has kind of owned them lately. So grab the points, see if the Tribe can do it one more time. I think Towson's the better team here, and probably wins this game. But I think it's way too many, too much love. They've been too good against the number all year. Towson has. All right, let's get to my last one here, Max. This is one that I wanted to be quick with. It's Kennesaw versus North Florida's 143. This is kind of your team you mentioned. I liked him early on as well. We took a ton of points with them. They're laying a short number at home. North Florida's played better at home. This is a little bit of a tricky spot, and they've lost some close games, by Stetson. Some of these last few games they played by 2. So I'm a little leery, but if I were in this game, I'd only play Kennesaw here, laying the 1.5. I thought maybe there's a little value in the under. Kennesaw's played some good defense the last few games. What do you think in this one?
Yeah, Connor, this is a Kennesaw State spot to me, heavy, just because I just love how we've seen this team grow together. Not only does this team have Spencer Rogers and Terrell Burden, who are names that you're going to recognize, Chris Youngblood, who is a pretty highly touted recruit to come over there in the first place, he's starting to live up to that to that ranking. And I think that that's the difference. They can just beat you with so many different guys at the 3-point line, and they have such good dribble drivers. It's hard to make them take a bad shot. It's really on them. To really shoot themselves in the foot rather than the other way around. So this is a bet on Kennesaw team. I do think that when we look at the road performances, though, it is important to note that they played some pretty stiff competition on the road and played within those numbers. So I think that now playing against a team like North Florida, who's definitely on a down year, it's called cock soup, served icy cold. Gus knows about it lots.
Yep. Served ice cold. All right, that's it for mine, Max. I want to talk about for me. That's if you're looking at that game, it's Kennesaw or nothing there. I have to say as well. Until I see otherwise, I'm a ride with them. All right, those are our games, Max. I say we get to the sponsors. Load up all your questions on all the rest of the games tonight. There's plenty other good ones I can't wait to talk about. So let's get to the sponsors, the commercial, and we'll be right back. Here we go. If you're in the San Antonio area, go to Southtown 101. Get there, drink booze, sing some karaoke, eat some burgers and wings. Best place in San Antonio. You need a book. We all need multiple books, multiple lines. Go to mybookie.ag at promo code PubSports. You switch over Bitcoin real quick. Put 1,000. They'll match you. Boom, with another 1,000. Go to mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. And manscaped.com, promo code PubSports. Get the Lawnmower 4.0. Get the full kit and caboodle. Go there, get there, and get the pub rub, baby, right here. Shit's amazing. Get it on your meat. Rub your goddamn meat. What am I doing here? Need to be a salesman. Vanna White with some pub rub. Two for $25. PubSportsRadio.com, and cop some of our merch as well. Get there, get some of our Pub Sports Radio Swizzag. All right, let's get to the games, Max. Billy Brisbane, here he goes. We got these play of the days. Everyone's got a name for a play of the day. Sheriff's play of the day, Seattle -125. Let's talk about that game real quick while he mentioned it. What do you think about that game, Max, the Seattle game tonight with Cal Baptist?
It's a nice little matchup between Seattle and Cal Baptist. Cal Baptist, obviously, with a deep backcourt and a very strong Daniel Atkin in the front court. And with Seattle, Cam Tyson is the best three-point shooter in the Western Athletic Conference. He's shown it. And if Darian Trammell's on point leading that group, it's going to be a fucking battle, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think there'll be points, too. Just that number I think is pretty sharp, but and it's already moved up a few points, 148 right now. I'd lean over in that game. Here's our guy, the boss Slaughter, Texas two-step, Stephen F. Austin, first half money line, Texas Southern -1.5, bounce back for Texas Southern, bringing the Dirty D tonight. What do you think about that, Max?
Yeah, I'm on Jackson State, so.
He's on Jackson State. All right, thoughts on Northeastern tonight?
Yeah, I think that with
Canes.
Delaware, Jameer Nelson has got to be the best guard on the floor. Northeastern has injury issues with Tyreek Scott Grayson, with Jason Strong. There's a couple guys that have been missing for Northeastern, so it's good to check back in, find out what their starting five is, because if they're missing one of these kind of guys, Delaware is going to be able to feast on them. They can score from inside and out, and they've been able to win on the road, which is definitely tough in the CAA conference.
Definitely. See James here. He wants to know that Denver game, Max. Denver, the Roos laying 8. You talked about the line. You thought it would go up. Denver's been this over team. It's gone down. The Roos are kind of an under team. But when they play, some teams that don't play a ton of defense, they can go over. What do you think here?
Yeah, I think that the Roos are a real interesting team because they're not as bad offensively as a lot of people look at them. They're a team that can push 70, I think it's just about who's available. We've seen this team really have to adjust to life without Josiah Alec. He hasn't been around the last couple of games, but Anderson Kopp, the Lamar transfer, and his three-point shooting has been monumental. I used to talk shit about him last year because he went on like a 3 for 37 run from three-point range, which is very bad, especially at a low-level mid-major school. However, I think that when you look at Gilliard, you look at Kopp, you look at Marvin Nesbitt, and then you look at UMBC transfer Arkel Lamar, I think that they can definitely do their part when it comes to scoring. And with Denver, if I see a total that's less than 140, I'm all over that shit like fucking fat man on a Twinkie.
Flies on shit, yeah. Man, a Twinkie, yeah. No doubt.
I prefer without the visual of flies on shit.
Yeah. Okay. Wyoming. UNR, this one's a big topic. Wyoming went on the road, beat Utah State. UNR has not been very good lately, Max. But can Wyoming go on the road and do it here? Catching 2.5, totals 149.5.
Yeah, listen, I think that this is a situation where I'm looking to buy that 3 just because Wyoming, while I do have a lot of faith in their ability on the road, it still is a number game. And while they may not be able to win the game, that point may make a difference. I think that with Wyoming and their ability to throw it down and let Hunter Maldonado slow the game down and really be able to facilitate and dictate the tempo, that's going to be key, because if Grant Sherfield and Desmond Cambridge get off, that's going to be a big problem. I think Wyoming is a better sound all-around team, and with Coach Jeff Linder and his three-point shooting scheme on offense in the half court, I think that's the difference tonight. If Wyoming hits threes, they win this game.
Yeah, you're right. If they nail threes, they're in this one. Nevada has not been very good all year long. Let's get to this next one. Well, we have Stephen F. Austin. They're laying 15. Man, they laid an egg the other day. I had the under, though, on Saturday. And 14-15 to Lamar here. Total 137. Anything here, Max?
Yeah, listen, I think that with Lamar, you got to know who's playing. I think that everyone pretty much was healthy last time out, aside from Jordan Adams. So that definitely plays in Lamar's favor as far as being able to keep this game close. It's just with Stephen F. Austin and Calvin Solomon and Gavin Kensmill, these guys have been there, done it, and this team is dominant at home. With both these teams coming from the Southland, we do have usable data from their recent games, and I think that this is a spot where Stephen F. Austin has to show to me that they're ready to rout them. The only way that I look at them on the spread is first half. Otherwise, I'd be looking towards Lamar as a backdoor covering ability team. Yeah,
you wanted to mention it here, Jake. Yeah, that game, I don't know. Stephen F. Austin, that was Sam Houston. That was so ugly. I mean, I think they scored 12 points. Second half, 49-41. It's good to my under, but I thought they could have won the game. But man, yeah, that was ugly. Bro, Delaware Northeastern. I have this total going over 139. Should be 140. I lean over in that game. I didn't bet it, Roland, but I definitely lean over. What do you lean in that game, Max? The Northeastern game?
Yeah, it's really about who's available for Northeastern, because if they don't have a proper point guard to run the offense, then I'm definitely looking towards the under. But if they do have Tyreek Scott Grayson at the minimal in, then I definitely think that the ball facilitation will be a little better.
Weber State, Idaho State. Weber laying the big number. It's like 10 at 11. What do you think here? Total 138.5.
Yeah, I think that this is over spot, but Weber's got to show to me on the road that they can take care of business early. If they can't put up 40 and this total doesn't get to above 65, then that's going to be real problematic full game for them.
Sean Murphy, Idaho versus Northern Arizona. 5.5, total 149.
Yeah, listen, with Northern Arizona, I like them much better at home. I just think that with Idaho, they need Mikey Dixon and freaking Gabe Quinnett to have big games. They have to lead this offense, plain and simply. They do play terrible defense. They can't stop anybody from scoring at the rim, and they put a ton of fucking people on the free throw line. The difference is that this is probably one of the most dominant freaking Big Sky three-point shooting teams. And if Trevante Anderson and Mikey Dixon are freaking connecting assists to freaking score, I do think that we're going to see Idaho be able to stay in it. I think that the key for Idaho is getting bench production, and that starts with Phillip People. That starts with Ethan Kilgore, Nolan Bertrand. If those guys are producing, then they have a chance. You got a solid big man in Tanner Christensen in the middle that can deter drivers. And I'll take the shot with freaking this Idaho team, especially against Northern Arizona, that's very reliant on Jalen Cone's shooting and scoring.
For sure, great breakdown. From our guy here, I want to mention it. He says, nice show. Mike, we appreciate it. Thoughts second half, Murray State. Do you have anything live right now on that, Max? I know we're...
Let me look at my second half line. That second half already started. I'm on Murray State team total over, so I'm just hoping that the offense and pace picks up.
Excellent. Let's start rolling through with some of these ones. Indiana, Nebraska, Max. I wanted to get to. Can Nebraska cover here? This is Indiana, the better defensive team. We know they're not great on the road. Nebraska got blown out by Purdue. It just seems I want more points if I were to even be on Nebraska. And they play a little bit better at home, but what do you think in this one?
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna play games with this spot. I think that with Indiana, they have not covered numbers on the road. Today could be the day, but if you've been betting against Indiana on the road, you just keep on doing it.
Yeah, I'm just like pass there. Belmont, SIU Edwardsville, Belmont laying the big number here, 14.5, total 147. It's moved up a few points. What do you think here?
With this Belmont team, I think that this is a similar situation to their rivalry with Samford. SIU beat them a couple years ago. I think that game and that loss is still used as motivation, even with Casey Alexander as the coach. And I think coming off a loss to Murray State and losing by 20 at home, that's the difference right there. I think we see a buck wild, buck angry Belmont team, and if those guys don't come out and fuck with their eyes open, I'm gonna know that there's some bait ass cucks.
Yeah, no doubt. How about this one? This was a game I didn't dig much into, but I think you're gonna have something to say here. UNC Wilmington versus College of Charleston. They're laying 7.5, 8, total 147.
Yeah, pretty much with Charleston, having John Meeks back in the lineup adds a whole element of scoring in the mid-range that they just didn't really have from anybody else on the roster. This is a guy that you can throw the ball down to, and he can freaking lead your team and get you those buckets when you need them most. That's what they're going to need tonight. Charleston needs a little bit more consistency. They got a lot of bodies they can throw out at you, but getting off to a good start, being up at halftime by 6 or more points, that's going to be critical if they want to have a shot to cover the spread. We've seen UNC Wilmington have slow starts and make comebacks, but most of those games have been at home.
Yeah, how about this one? You touched on the line movement, Max. Drake laying 2.5 against Southern Illinois, total 130. There's some 131s out there. What's your take here?
Yeah, listen, Connor, Southern Illinois is the Drake of last year to me when it comes to betting as an underdog, when it comes to betting as a home dog in conference. And that's the way that I'm going to be looking at it. SIU is healthy. They have Marcus Domask, who is just an absolute shot drainer. And when you have a shot drainer, fluids are getting extracted. People are happy. Tickets are being cashed. And SIU's been doing that. So take out Tucker DeVries, take out Tank Hemphill for Drake tonight. I'm all over SIU. I just want to see if I can get a 3.
Yeah, Drake has been the shits against the number this year. I've had my struggles with Southern Illinois. We've discussed this in the past, Max. Usually I like taking points with them, but man, they're one team. They're kind of like the Indiana Pacers, if it NBA. There's just these teams that just, man, every time I bet them, they shit the bed for me. Let's get to this next one. You mentioned the line moving up. UNLV, San Jose State, 5.5 to 8 for the Rebels here. There's a few 7.5s I see. Total 140. Can UNLV go on the road and win double digits?
I feel like it's a buy low spot on San Jose State. I don't know why we're freaking like crowning them freaking like cocksuckers of the year. I can give you a couple candidates for that. I think that when we look at this basketball game, though, San Jose State got their ass whooped by Colorado State, and this number is definitely reflecting that. I think that with Omari Moore and freaking Trey Smith, you have a solid 1-2 scoring tandem that you can rely on in a lower tier game. UNLV is not going to put up points like Colorado State did. UNLV struggles to freaking make layups at times, even though they have a very decorated roster of good freaking talent and good collegiate players. I just think that we're getting a buy low spot on San Jose State, and I got to lean towards them, especially with the line move against them.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know that this line has maybe moved up too much. Now you're asking UNLV to go in there and win by 10. It's just not a game I'm going to bet now. Rebels are healthy, but yeah, I want nowhere to be with that goddamn game. Let's get to this one. Portland State. Do you want to be on this one, Max? Southern Utah. Southern Utah laying the big number here. Portland State's been disappointing this year. They're laying 10.5, total 141. What do you got here?
Yeah, listen, I think that with this total, it's going to be indicative of how Southern Utah comes off their layoff. I think that with Portland State, there are some question marks when it comes to who's going to be available. And obviously, the biggest concern for me is what the status of James Jean-Marie is going to be. Last time out, we did get to see Marlon Ruffin. Damian Squire was back in the lineup. And of course, with Khalid Thomas and Michael Carter, the connecting piece is James Jean-Marie. The French Canadian is a fantastic upperclassman that does a great job on the offensive defensive glass, and he's going to give you game-changing scoring. Portland State is best suited playing slow down, low-scoring games. They may get that game tonight against Southern Utah with them coming off a layoff. We have seen Southern Utah have offensive outbursts within games, but we've also seen them be the king of the 4 or 5 minute scoring drought. So for me, it's under when it comes to this game. I think that with Portland State's poor offensive numbers and also possibly missing their best player, and then the fact that on the defensive side, they're not an easy team to freaking score and route, I got to look at the dog and I got to look at the under.
Excellent. Let's get to we just got a few more games left here that I can see. We went over the Seattle game. Billy mentioned Prairie View A&M versus Alcorn State. Max, they're laying 4 here, total 144. What's your look here?
Yeah, listen, I think that with Alcorn, it's dangerous to lay numbers with them at all. I think that they are the better team. I just think that as a favorite, Prairie View does have some value to me. I think that coming off a bad game on the road, I think that we are getting another buy low spot on them. So I think that Prairie View would be attractive as a full game dog, but maybe you jump on a little Alcorn first half because maybe they get off to a big start similar to their Texas Southern performance.
How about this one? I didn't dig too much into this. This total's gone down. Bethune-Cookman versus Arkansas Pine Bluff. Cookman's laying 1.5. Totals come down to 130.5. What's your look here?
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna let the Arkansas Pine Bluff win against Alabama State sour me. This is still a very sour team in general, and with their defensive numbers and the way that they are so reliant on Sean Williams to take them to the winners window, I just think that without him in a game, which he did not play last time out, that's gonna be the determining factor. If he's not in the lineup today, I'm gonna go much heavier on Bethune-Cookman. Otherwise, it's Bethune-Cookman or pass for me.
Definitely. I think we've touched them all. Is there one I missed, Max? I think we've gotten all of them. The rest are early games. The Dartmouth game, maybe I missed. Harvard, Dartmouth.
That's a big pass for me.
I
do not like Harvard games. They make me want to vomit.
Yeah, I think we touched them all. The rest are going on. Is there any in-game bets you'd like to talk about, Max?
I think that right now we're seeing Norfolk State pull ahead of Maryland Eastern Shore. Maryland Eastern Shore was ahead for a good part of the first half and then blew it late, and we've seen that continuation in the second half. I do think that Utah, if you aren't on them right now, is a perfect time to get back in it. They just tied the game. Both teams are in the bonus, and Utah is a clear advantage right now at the free throw line versus Arizona State. With the Yale-Brown game, I think that if you like Brown, this is a definite good time to get on them. I'm not going to get on them. I think that Yale definitely did a good job of getting their three-point shot going, and that's problematic for Brown in the second half. And as far as other games, James Madison, that's a stay away right now. Charlotte, that's done. I think LaSalle's going to keep on fucking St. Joe's in the mouth. So obviously St. Joe's is on the take because it's a 31-15 second half. I don't think that's going to stop. So maybe you get on LaSalle minus 4.5 or 5.5. It's a tough live board for me today. That's for sure. I've lost a bit of money. Yeah,
Big Show. You said something? What'd you mention, brother?
I think we only had one game left, and it was the Kennesaw game.
Oh, yeah. I went over that, but go over it again, Max. I'm on Kennesaw or pass here against North Florida total. But what about the total? Anything there on the 143? I leaned under a little bit. I was playing defense, but
I also lean under just because if you don't get a big offensive game from Cedric Henderson and Jose Placer, do they really get to 70? So yeah, definitely like that.
Excellent. Shout out to the chat. Hit the like, hit the retweet. That's all you need to do. I know it's Monday, but it's pretty weak today. You need to pump this shit up, get in here, and get our plays. All right, Max. Give a shout out to the chat before you leave. But before you do that, give them your looks for tonight. Your bets.
All right, chat. I'm going to go with the best bet in the Weber State Idaho State game. I'm going to take Weber State team total first half over 34.5 points. If they can't get 35, they're going to have a lot of trouble covering this goddamn spread. So we will see after 20 minutes with those sons of bitches. I think that when I look at a first half under, the one that pops out to me, especially on the West Coast games, is that Southern Utah Portland State game at 67 or 67.5. I think that's a great number to jump on. Southern Utah may be a little cold in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and that could be what we need to keep this game under. And my last play is going to be a home dog. I think that when we look at this Southern Illinois team and plus 2.5 points, I think that that's the right side to be on. They got close to winning as a big home dog last time out. I think that they get the job done right tonight, especially without Tucker DeVries playing.
The dog barking. Let's get to mine, and then we'll get on out of here. Mercer, Citadel. I'm on the over 151. This line hasn't moved much. I just think it gets over. Maybe I'm crazy. I thought this could have been 155. I saw a little bit of value here. I also think Citadel at the 3.5 has value as well, a tad bit on sidewise. Portland, it's come down. I got 11. You can still get 10s. Take the 10. I'm relying on them. We'll probably one more game. This is the last game of a 5-game road trip. Hoping they can come through again. I'm going with William and Mary. Man, this team, I need it one more time at home before they go on the road. I believe they go on the road for 4 games after this. One more home game, catching double digits against a Towson team, maybe a little very good team against the number, but a little overrated. I hope William and Mary can come through. And we touched on that last one, Max. I haven't bet it yet, but it's the only way I'd look. The Kennesaw State is. I'd lay the 1.5 with them. I don't know if I'm going to do it, pull the trigger or not, but I am. Shout out the Taint. Portland is the Taint. Look at that. Look at that. Mind. All right, Max, give a word for the chat and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, listen, chat. Obviously, guys, it is winter time. Put your goddamn jackets on. Put your hats and scarves on. Don't get yourself sick because you think that you have COVID. That's not going to be the case. You can get a cold still. Let's not forget that. Secondly, you know what? Strip clubs, they are open. They are ready for business. You need to take your loved ones, your freaking almost adult children there and freaking enjoy the lap dances and the freaking titties flopping all over the place. Bring your freaking $100 in $1 American bills and never ask a stripper for change of a $5 bill. That's my public service announcement. Fuck with your eyes open. We be pubbing.
We be pubbing, baby. That's it for us today. He's great, Maxwell Smart. I'm Conor Mack. We're out of here, baby. We be pubbing! Peace.